Hello and welcome to Getting Candid with me, your girl Helen. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so that you don't miss out on anything that we upload on this channel. Today the artist I'm chatting with is called Plight. Not very known to most of you, but talented and also a very good entrepreneur. So there is a lot to learn from him. How does he balance that? Being a very busy businessman as well as an artist. Let's listen to him after the break. Welcome back. I mentioned in the opening that I'll be chatting with a musician and entrepreneur as well, Plight. What I'm interested to know is how you balance being an entrepreneur and music, because I've heard a lot of musicians say how much demanding music is and how much it can be. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm okay too.
You're welcome on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here actually.
All right. Okay, so Plight. First of all, like I mentioned, talking about how you're an entrepreneur and you're an artist, and obviously I want to know, because I was been telling you before, like I read your profile and they seem to be very busy. How do you balance it with music? Before we get into that, firstly, I want to know a little bit about your childhood, where you were born and where you grew up from.
So I was born in Mazabuka District Hospital. Yeah, but we only stayed there for like 3 years. Then we moved to Chilanga District now. Yeah. Then at some point I did move to Lusaka West when I was a child, but we still got back to Chilanga. I think Chilanga is where I grew up from.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when I started school at Material Boys. I started my school in Chilanga actually, then I moved to Material Boys, but I used to commute.
So you were coming from
Chilanga to Material.
Wow, that was quite.
Yeah, it was quite a distance, but I think at some point I got used to it and I liked it. Yeah, because it gave me access to money.
I know what you mean when you had change, transport money, because you're always negotiating with the conductors.
And then it reached a point where they just got used to me saying, oh, he's a school kid and things like that. So it reached a point where I wasn't charged anything. Yeah, but at home I used to demand for the money. I used to say I need transport money, even when I know that they would not charge me on the bus.
So you grew up with both parents?
Yeah, I grew up with both parents. Yeah, though my early childhood I was mostly with mom. I think at the time, dad and mom were not yet married. Yeah, I think dad was pursuing his career. At the time he was at China.
Okay.
Yeah, China. He was doing clinical medicine at the time, so he wasn't around.
Okay.
So most of the times I was with mom. Yeah, mom and my grandmother.
Okay, nice. Are you the only child?
No, we're the two of us, but at the time when all this was happening, I was the only child. I think I was the only child for 7 years, because there's a 7 years difference between myself and my young brother.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you went on after Material Boys, you went on to university?
So after Material Boys, I went to DK. Yeah, I was in boarding school, DK. And after DK, I was supposed to go to Sweden, University of Edinburgh. I was supposed to go do artificial intelligence. But that's the time dad passed on. Then mom developed a complication. Yeah, she became hypertensive and she was found to have diabetes. So I said to myself, like, anyway, the world is the same. For me, that's my thinking. It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is your capacity and capability. So I said, let me just stay and I'll do something about it. So that's how I stayed.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I stayed, I decided to start something online. Because while I was at DK, I had made some networks, some connections with people from outside. Among them was some students from MIT, yeah, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So I started an online computing course.
So what? I was reading your profile and I think I was telling my husband, I'm like, I can't pronounce, I never know how to pronounce this.
Okay. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, yes.
Okay, that's in USA.
Yeah, in the USA, yes.
Okay.
So I did an online computing course, yeah, which was like for 3 years. But I think I managed to do it in less than 3 years because it was more dependent on whether you can attempt the exam and qualify. Yeah. Then afterwards, I did a number of certification programs: Microsoft Certified Programmer, Cisco, Microsoft IT Specialist. And then I started an online master's program with University of Roehampton. So
So most of your degrees, your certificates were done online?
Yeah, were done online because then that's when I could focus on the other things and then I could also focus on school.
What other things?
Like business, because I'd already started my business when I was in high school. When
Really?
I was a TK, yes.
Okay, what motivated you? Why did you think of starting a business? Did you start your business when your father died or when he was still alive? And
I started my business while I was in school because at some point my father was a problem giving money. So you find that you'd ask for certain things and he'd tell you you're a man, do something about it.
Yeah.
And then every time he says you're a man, it kept on ringing in my head like, what is he trying to say, you see? So every now and then I would be found alone thinking and saying, what does it mean when he says you're a man? So I decided to come up with things. Like when I was at school, I could buy extra books aside from normal high school books, but I could buy books like one of them was a programming book, computer programming.
You are so into this technology.
Yeah, because I saw it as a future. I could see that it's a future.
Yeah.
So I said, let me buy a computer programming book. So I could do certain things, like I could draw. Like, at school you could have exams and then there are diagrams in the test paper or the exam paper. At the time, most people didn't know how to do those diagrams, especially the ones in biology and physics.
Okay.
Yeah, but with the book that I bought, I could do them. I could draw them on a PC.
Nice.
Yeah, that's where the business started from. Because when I started doing that, at some point I realized I could actually charge the teachers. So I started charging them.
You were just inborn businessman, because probably some of us would just be doing it for fun. Like, I'm helping the teacher. You wouldn't think of charging them.
Yeah, because what happened is that when I was in school, I realized I started studying the school system. I started saying, when you're in something, it's like when you're in a house, you'd want to appreciate how the house is. You'd have to look at it from the inside. But at some point, you'd have to go out and look at it from the top, the aerial view. So I got that and I said I need to apply it to this same school. Yeah, and I realized that, because at some point I came out the best student and then, it feels good. But again, I would ask myself, is it all there is? You come out the best student. Does it lead to anything? Yeah, and I said, I want to find meaning in everything I do. So at some point, I gave up on the idea of saying, let me be the best in class. Yeah, let me get the best results. Because I started questioning where the results are taking me, because I was also questioning our universities. I said, even though I get the 6 points at the end of the day, I go to university. These universities are not practical. For me, I could look at it that way. They are not practical. And I said, that's not what I want. That's why I never wanted to study at any Zambian university, because they are not practical. I was looking at the practicality, because I've seen a lot of things we can do as a country, and most of them should start at our universities.
Yeah,
but they're not starting at our universities. We have people coming all the way from outside to come and implement simple ideas that could have started at our universities.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I said no. I just don't want to be a best student, get the best results. I also want to do certain things, make a difference. So that's how I started doing practical things like drawing diagrams in a test paper, creating a program, a system that could solve a problem. And then I said, anyway, I'm exchanging value for value, so let me get value for what I'm doing.
Okay, so now I want us to take a break, but I really want to know where music comes in all this.
Okay.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
All right.
Welcome back. I'm still chatting with Plight, and please don't change the channel. Watch this episode to the fullest. You will learn something, definitely. Okay, so we've talked about your technical side,
Yeah.
your educational side. I want to know where music came in all this.
Yeah, so when all this was happening, music was at the core.
Okay.
Yeah, like when I was going through so many things, music was healing for me. I could turn to music to heal. I could turn to music to inspire whatever I had inside me. Even when I was deciding, let me try out a new thing that maybe most people in school were not doing, music was sort of like at the core of everything. I could use music to inspire me. It's funny how I could listen to love songs at the time, but not think in the line of romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would think in the line of, let me make a difference. Yeah, I would use the aura I would get from the songs. Yeah, to inspire me to do things.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use music to heal, and I used it to do a lot of things. And then I decided to say, if music can do this for me, then I can as well do music and let it do the same for people.
As a professional, when did you decide to say, I think I should take it professionally?
So I never really made the decision to do professional music. What happened was, it happened by accident. So I'd kept ideas, like all of a sudden I could get ideas for songs. All of a sudden, maybe you're in school, you're doing something, you just want to break off from the studies, then you get an idea for a song. So you write it down, maybe you even sing a melody. Because at that time, I'd even started using digital platforms like Dropbox, yeah, which is like a cloud platform. So I could do things and then just throw them in the cloud and say I'll use them later on. Yeah. But it so happened that when I started the My Ride project, I was trying to work with producers. Yeah, so I was at one of the producers, Stash, doing a My Ride project. Then I thought to myself, when I looked at the screen, I was like, actually, I can try and do a song. That was last year in October. Then I told him, you know what, let's pause this project just for some time. Let's try and do this song. That's how we started working on the song.
Okay.
Yeah, and at the time, Yobe was right in the house. Yeah, and then Stash gave the idea of let's put him on the chorus. Then I said, no, I don't want your mouse to be on the chorus. I want a different feel on the chorus. So that's how I said, no, let's get Dave. I like his feel. Let's get Dave on the chorus. That's how I got Dave to come through, and then that's how I made the first song, first professional song.
And then you were encouraged to continue.
Yeah, and then the song was received very well. People liked it and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I started saying, oh, those ideas I had, let me start putting them together. That's how I started working on music.
So how far are you planning to take on your music? Because I'm thinking you seem to be so busy with your entrepreneurship sides.
Yeah, so I'm not really doing music like really on a professional level. I'm really doing it as a party-time thing. But I've really done a lot. Like currently I'm working on an album, and then pushing international features. And there are certain things I just want to do different, because I've also seen a number of mistakes with regards to the music industry in our country. And I said, okay, let me just do certain things and make a difference. And in as much as we are all trying to learn, at least let me point out certain things that I should say to the others, like, okay, let's learn and do better on certain things, so that we can also be out there making a difference with the music, like our counterparts or our colleagues in other countries are doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that one thing? Can you mention one thing that you want to do differently from what other people are doing?
Yeah, so the major thing I've noticed with the music in our country, there is this narrative that there is no money in the industry. So one, that's wrong, because there is money in the industry. Yeah, an example I'll give is that we've got corporate entities, big corporate entities. Some of them are from outside. We've got major corporate entities like the GSM companies. All these have got a marketing budget every year. Yeah. But the sad part with our Zambian industry, music and entertainment, is that like we have people like you who are content creators that create content, and then we have got these corporate entities with a marketing budget, but we don't tap into that marketing budget. We've got other agencies from the East, like South Africa, that come and tap into that marketing budget. Like a good example I'll give, DSTV makes almost $1 million in terms of dollars out of Zambian content. Yeah, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'd rather have our content creators have a direct relationship with the marketing budget for each corporate entity in our country, so that you can make money, because the money is there. Yeah, so one, I've noticed we've got this poor mindset as artists of thinking there's no money. Meanwhile, actually the money is there, because for as long as you create value and you can exchange your value for something, the money is there. Because every year there are big, huge budgets, and not kwacha in terms of like the currency, but $1 million budgets. We've even got the mines. That sort of like their cash flow or their daily transactions are in dollars. Why doesn't the entertainment industry tap into that? Because obviously we can gain or exchange our value for a lot of money with regards to even looking at it from an international perspective. So that's one issue I have, because I've noticed we think from a shallow kind of perspective, where we will start talking of, no, I need to feed, no, I need food on the table. For me, that's a very poor mindset, because to be honest, if we could attach value to what we do and do it in a certain way, yeah, then we could attract even the biggest marketing budget that's out there. We could attract it. Because why is it that if Wizkid was come today and perform, he's going to walk away $50,000? If I get a Zambian artist to perform, he's going to walk away at most maybe 50,000 kwacha.
Yeah, then they have paid them a lot, because
and then we complain a lot about that. But to be very honest, it's us who have decided to make things that way. It's actually us, the artists, because even now, even just the way we influence our followers, we don't influence our followers to buy our music.
Yeah. Though I think I've seen a little bit of at least a trend of people trying to make sure that followers buy music than free music. But when you talk about buying music, you are one person I've witnessed buy an album at a very high price. Because every time there's a listening session, usually every time there's a listening session, there's an auction sale. And people have bought albums at 6,000, 10,000, but you bought an album at 20,000. That one I witnessed.
Okay.
Why did you feel like, it's okay, I can buy an album for 20,000?
Yeah, so I'm going back to the same idea of like having a poor mindset. If you've got a poor mindset, and the other thing I'd like to bring in is we Africans have been indoctrinated with this welfare mentality. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. If today you were to buy a private jet, people will point fingers at you. They'll say, no, maybe you could have given the street kids. Maybe you could have got, but they don't realize that in you buying a private jet, one, you'll be feeding millions of families, because there'll be people working for you, there'll be pilots. Every now and then you take a trip, you'll be spending above $100,000. That's money going to people who are exchanging value for the skills that they're giving you. So you're keeping it a capitalist system. You're keeping things in motion, and you're giving people their dignity, their respect, and their honor, than just giving them money for nothing. So coming back to like buying an album at 30,000 kwacha, at 20,000 kwacha, I was just looking at giving value for what someone has put in, because they put in the work, sleepless nights, they try and make sure they make art that people can be in tune with, that people can sync with, that people can relate to. That's a lot of work. And I look at it from the perspective of, if you look at it from the international angle, 20,000 kwacha at that time was like less than $1,000, you see? Yeah, it was less, which is actually the international standard for an album, because a song will sell for like $0.9.
Okay.
So if you've got like a composite of, on average, maybe 10 to 15 songs, that's almost like maybe $800 to $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was buying those albums, I was just trying to say, let me give the international value that can be given to an album. But to me, that wasn't a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, not looking at it from the perspective of what I have, but looking at it from the perspective of what
somebody
should
put
be.
in.
Yeah, what it should be, what should be the standard. Because we need to set standards, because we've never set standards in our industry. We just do things from without. But we need to set standards. There's no way you can buy an album and, you know, a piece of work that someone has put in their soul into it. You can't buy it for 500 kwacha, for 1,000 kwacha, because then you look at what that 1,000 kwacha can do. Because if I was to give an artist a 1,000 kwacha, most likely, even for them to just get studio time, it'll be like limited studio time. It won't even do much for them. So what's the use of saying 15 songs that require, they don't know so much of studio time, then you buy them at 1,000 kwacha? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make business sense. So I'd rather maybe buy it at 20,000 kwacha, 30,000.
Oh, 30,000.
Then I know he can actually reproduce that kind of work. He can get studio time, or he can get studio equipment.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I bet Roberto and Blake were very thankful, and they felt because you bought Roberto's album and Blake's album as well. So that is good. But keep it up. And what's next for you?
So I'm working on an album and I'm pushing international features. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to change was I've realized we can do so many things in our country, but I think we're sitting on so much potential. There's this thing of where you want everything done from outside. And at some point, I also said, okay, let me do certain things from outside, because the problem is that our work culture is very bad. Yeah, but one thing I realized is that even with regards to, I'll give an example like a country like Japan. You know, Toyota wasn't born Toyota we know now, you know. It really failed a number of times. And the government had to sort of like support the company for a very long period of time. They used to invest in the company. And that follows with our country. We usually say, okay, let's not give business to local people because maybe they won't finish. Like let's say we give them a road contract, they'll get the money, buy themselves expensive vehicles and not finish. But one, we need to start working on the mindset. So we need to start changing the mindset. And the only way we can do that is we need to trust the people. It's like I come to you, I trust you with something. At some point it will be ringing in your head that, oh, this person has trusted me with something. In as much as I want to enjoy and mess up, but he's really trusted me with something. So we need to start changing that mindset. And it's the same thing applies to followers, us as an artist. We need to start changing the mindset so that we can believe in what is our own. Because there's a lot we can do. It doesn't matter whether you're in the United States, you're in the UK. For as long as you're a human being created in the image of God, you've got the same capacity, the same capability in terms of what you can do with regards to the mind. And it doesn't matter. It's not that the mind is geographically limited. No. Of course, there's an issue of exposure. But there's a lot we can do locally. There's a lot we can explore locally. Even when it comes to things like shooting videos, there are a lot of sites in Zambia where if someone was to go there and shoot a video, it would look like, okay, this is so different, this is not Zambia. People have come here from Hollywood and shot movies that have made millions of dollars. Yeah, that's an insult to us, because it's like telling us, if I can travel all the way from the United States and come and make millions here in Zambia, it's an insult to us locals who keep on crying like, oh, there's no money in Zambia. If Google can make money off us in Zambia, it's actually an insult if you think about it, because Google is very far from here, but they managed to make millions of dollars from Zambia. Yeah, why is that we can't do stuff that can also make millions off them?
Okay.
Yeah, so those are things we really need to do. And it doesn't matter how we do them. It could be music. It could be, the entertainment industry as a whole, inclusive of film and movies and things like that. It could be the way we do our things, like the way we approach, let's say, development. Yeah, the theory and the principle is the same that we need to apply. Yes.
Before I let you go, are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Are you dating?
I'm not married, but currently I should say I'm dating. But I should say I'm not really putting in the work.
If I'm the one watching, I'm like, so he even knows that he's not putting in the work, he even says it.
No, I like to be blunt about things. I think it saves me the energy, because I think when you expend energy, there's a way in which it all has to balance out.
So you know that it's not balancing right now. Your energy is what is more on work sides of things?
Not really work side of things. People always say, no, I'm busy, no, I'm doing this, but that's a lie. To be honest, it's a lie. There's always a way you can create time for what is important to you. Yeah, so if you start using the excuse of, I'm busy, that's why the relationship is not working, it's a lie. It's either maybe there's just something you're not really interested in, or there's someone distracting you. So
what is it with you now?
Are
you being distracted?
I think I'm at the stage where I'm just trying to find meaning in everything. So when I start questioning whether I'm finding any meaning in this, I'm at the stage where I'm trying to say, is this what I want?
Does she know?
Yeah, she knows. I'm very clear about things I want to do.
Okay, wishing you all the best and thanks for coming. How can people find you? Maybe your social media platforms. They want to know your music, I'm sure. And
yeah, so people can get me on Plight Intellect, Facebook, Plight Intellect Instagram, Plight Intellect Twitter, and Plight Intellect on YouTube.
Alright, so also would like to hear you sing a little bit.
All right.
Any of your songs, whichever one you feel like this is what I'm feeling right now, I can give you maybe a line or two.
Okay, so I'll give you a line to one of the songs that's already done but not yet released.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's called I Want You.
Okay.
Yeah, despite people saying, nah, love cannot wake and things like that, but love is our very existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Every time I look into your eyes, forever is a feeling on my mind. You are the one for me, the piece so that I'm complete. Oh, wanakuna mapo, but I ain't here to lie, no, no. I want you for life, Mr. and Mrs. You and I, together muchikondi, no kabotolo, real love, baby, never on the low. Who for, but I'll never let you go, 'cause real love needs time for it to grow. Together, oh, let no man put us under. Ndine wako uliwanga, I can never want another.
Okay, we're looking for, when are you going to release that song?
It'll be out in a week.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
looking forward to hearing it.
No, thank you.
And how is my ride doing, that kind of business in Zambia?
So my right, we're still pushing the numbers. Yeah, we're doing well in terms of getting the numbers, but the business model is it's a volume business, so we need to get the numbers. So we're pushing the numbers currently. I should say we're doing okay, but we still have a lot of work.
Okay,
Yeah, we still have a lot of work.
good, all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through and putting the work. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. We're chatting with Plight, a musician and an entrepreneur. I think there's a lot that a lot of us young people, a lot of you young people can learn from him. So keep subscribing, turn on the bell, and don't miss out on anything we upload. Bye-bye.